when I look at why integration isn't working is because the left has shoved black people into a culture that totally goes against our religious upbringing and the values that got us from slavery all the way through to 1965. We were a modern miracle. What we overcame, survived, and fought for and achieved all the way up through about 1965. And then for the last 60 years, we've been sent another direction that I don't blame anybody for. Like, man, if y'all down with this, I ain't down with y'all, because that's how I feel.
Yeah, so I'm going to respond in two ways, right? One, I'm going to talk about the challenge, the danger. And then the second one, I'll say briefly about the opportunity. That challenge is real. And I talked about it in the column in terms of the education piece. And when I say education, I see education as equal parts scholarship and discipleship. We tend to think about the academic. Most people tend to think about the academic side of it, reading, writing, arithmetic. But there's also, a part of education that's about moral formation and right and wrong. And when you look at what the schools are pushing now to our kids, a lot of it is all wrong. And I've mentioned before, at public schools and charter schools, they're trying to introduce children to gender ideology, right? They want 3-year-olds to know what the word transgender, non-binary means. They never say what the academic benefit is of this, instruction would be. But these are the things that are being pushed on children in schools all across this country. So even at my daughter's school, I think it was February 2020, they put up some signage around BLM, and they had some pictures of people who have been, I believe, killed by the police. And when I emailed the principal about what his thoughts are on BLM and what is the school's mission in putting these things, in the school, I never heard a response. My daughter didn't go back the next school year because I was adamant. And when my wife and I talked about it, it was like, I don't want these people forming my child's mind or her morals. That's our job. And that's what I talked about in the article in terms of growing in my faith and hearing from other pastors sort of articulate this and saying any student is going to be like their teacher. And when your kids spend 10 hours a day in that environment, getting those values, and you're trying to scrub them off for the 30 minutes before school and the 30 minutes after school, and you do that for 12 years, you shouldn't be surprised that by the time they come home from freshman year at college, that they hate everything it is that you taught them. So that is the danger. The opportunity is this, though. As these things become more open, more prevalent, and more parents wake up to it, I think what you're going to see is a multiracial, multi-ethnic, multi-generational movement of people who have, whether it's Christian, conservative, traditional values, pushing back on it and saying no more. So people who may not have ever voted for the same candidates are now being boxed into sort of the label of conservative, because now to be conservative is to believe that there is such a thing as men and women, and that there are only two sexes, and, men can't turn into women and women can't turn into men. If you articulate those things, now you're deemed a conservative.